the American Labor Museum, and on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I warmly welcome each and every one of you to tonight's gala. We broke a record tonight. We had the largest gathering ever in the history of the museum. Congratulations. And that is because of our honorees. Sean O'Brien, are you kidding me? Joe Demark Jr., come on. Excuse me, like Michael Winship from the Writers Guild? Whoa. John Mele, our volunteer carpenter from Carpenters Local 157 in New York City, who works at Tekin. Akira Albar Kluck, who's going to Temple University in Dublin next year. Really? And Melisa, Tekin, who unfortunately cannot be with us tonight because she has a stomach virus. But I thank you one and all for being here, and we're gonna have a good time. And now I am proud to introduce my grandchildren, Sophia and William Santamaro, who are going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Jola Falce, our volunteer, who is going to sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
They call him Mel Torme, the Velvet Voice. Thank you so much, everybody. As anyone who has ever been involved with a nonprofit knows that a board of trustees is one of the most important ingredients in functioning well. And we have a president of our board of trustees from the Office of Professional Employees International Union who is top shelf. I love him to death, Michael Goodwin.
Thank you very much, Angelica. That was very nice of you. I want to thank all of you also, following what Angelica said, for participating in tonight's event. The support of the museum is so critical to carry out the exhibits and the activities and parades and everything that we do. And it's all designed to take the lessons of the labor movement and pass it down from generation to generation to generation. And the number of children that come to the museum each year is fantastic. It's unbelievable. So it's with your support day in, day out. If you have an opportunity to be in the neighborhood and visit the museum, please do. It's a wonderful place. It brings back, a lot of memories. So I just wanted to mention that we have a congressman in this area, the 9th Congressional District in New Jersey, Bill Pascrell, and he wrote a letter to the museum congratulating all of our honorees tonight, and it's something that we're very proud of, and we'll keep it on hand at the museum for everyone to see. Thank you very much.
I don't need to introduce the next person because everybody on this side of the room knows who this guy is. He's a brother who I love, a Sol Stetin Award recipient, and the president of Teamsters Council 73, Brother Al Rispoli.
Good evening. Tonight I have the honor of introducing this year's Sol Stetin Award to a true and passionate leader and my friend, International Brotherhood of Teamsters General President Sean O'Brien. Sean's passion and commitment to the labor movement started at the young age of 18 as a member of Teamsters Local 25 in Boston. In 1999, he became a business agent, and in 2006, he became the youngest president in Local 25's 128-year history. In 2011, he was elected Eastern Region Vice President. On March 22, 2022, he was sworn into the office as General President of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. Sean didn't waste any time taking the labor movement head-on, traveling state to state throughout the country, proving to all his membership that unity, dignity, and pride would be restored. President O'Brien's character is demonstrated by what he does by walking the talk. His actions speak loud and clear that he means business, as some of you have seen the television. As a fearless labor leader, his strong ability was proven when he successfully negotiated a contract with the largest single employer in this country, UPS, for over 360,000 Teamsters without a strike. A man who is not afraid of taking on the fight against greedy corporations. He believes and stands up for improving the lives of not only Teamsters, but for all working men and women of this country. Witnessing firsthand what his priorities are, I believe in my heart that the fight for workers' rights are in the hand of the right leader. So tonight, please join with me and let's stand up and honor this good man and our friend, IBT General President Sean O'Brien.
The Sol Stetin Award presented to Sean M. O'Brien by the American Labor Museum Battle House National Landmark for his notable contributions which have improved the lives of working people and for his tireless dedication to just policies and causes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's an honor and a privilege, and I want to thank the museum for recognizing and honoring me. It's a true privilege to be here tonight. I also want to thank my good friend, Al Rispoli, probably one of the most genuine people, not only in the labor movement, but in the world today. So thank you for your friendship and your commitment. I have to recognize another person that's pretty special to me here tonight. Where is Dan Kane Sr.? Stand up, please. One of the best trade unionists. Everybody can just stand up for 1 second. All right, now listen carefully, because if you like our brother Teamsters, brother and sister Teamsters over here, we do not follow directions usually. And that's a good thing in most cases. But if everybody 35 years and younger remains standing, everybody else sit down. Okay, there's probably about 12 people standing up, correct? All right, sit down. So my name is Sean O'Brien. I'm a 4th generation Teamster, which I believe one of the greatest Teamster locals in the country. I'm sure my brothers from New Jersey and New York will debate that, but 4th generation, I got the privilege of getting probably one of the best educations about what it is to be a true trade unionist around the dinner table. And as an Irish Catholic family, we went to Mass, we went to communions, we went to confirmations, we went to funerals. And the one thing that was always present and constant around our dinner table and at these events was the Teamsters Union. Every conversation always went back to someone's issue at work, or what Local 25 was up to, or what elections were coming up, who was going to be supported as a candidate. But more importantly, we got to learn what it was to get up every single day, strap on those boots, watch our mothers, fathers, uncles, aunts go out to work every single day, not knowing what they did, but through the good times, there was one constant always there, it was the Teamsters Union. And through the bad times, there was always one constant there, which was the Teamsters Union. And I remember as a young kid, I used to go to union meetings with my dad, 3rd Sunday of every month. And I would wait at the bottom of the stairs to, hopefully he would ask me to go with him. Now there were some 3rd Sundays of the month, usually St. Patrick's Day or some holiday, where he avoided taking us to the meeting, and we didn't see him for a couple of days, but you know, that was different times back then. But I used to go to those meetings, and I used to be, it was like seeing your favorite sports star, like Bob Ewell, Larry Bird, or one of those, just looking up at the podium, and what I viewed as the strongest people I've ever seen in my life. Not even knowing at that point in time what the Teamsters did, but I remember going there, being treated with respect, being treated with dignity, and that right then and there turned me into, this is what I want to be a part of moving forward, not even knowing what it was. And then as you get older and you mature a little bit, you get to actually know what the Teamsters Union, or any union for that matter, was about. It's about solidarity, it's about sticking together, it's about having each other's backs, and it's about defining common enemy. That common enemy today is corporate America, crooked politicians, and anybody else that tries to hurt working people moving forward. And I think right now, we have a great opportunity, and I think we've done a great job collectively, all unions, about showing how important and vital we are to building a strong middle class, to building infrastructure that is going to allow the next generation of trade unionists to be successful. And the reason why I did that little drill here today, if you look around, there's 15 people that are under 35 years old in the labor movement. The one thing we have to get better at is recruiting this next generation. Because this next generation is so important to the survival of the union for the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 generations moving forward. Think about it. You know, we've all been around a long time. You know, I've got 34 years in the union, 52 years old, and we have to make sure that we leave our respective organizations better than we found them. And we can't be afraid to embrace new ideas. We can't be afraid to embrace diversity. But we have a lot of knowledge that we're able to pass on, a lot of history. This next generation of workers didn't learn what it was to be a trade unionist around the dinner table like I did. They're probably, sons and daughters of .com people or people that work in finance or whatever the case may be, where there's no stability in their workers. They've probably seen their mother and father change jobs every 3 or 4 years, roll over 401k, pay 25% towards their medical insurance. And more importantly, see their parents, in some cases, unfortunately, lose their job without any protections, without any grievance procedure, without any ability to recapture that job that they may have lost. So it's important that we take this next generation, and like the museum is doing, showcasing the history. And that history is important. There are a lot of trials and tribulations that this new generation of workers don't know anything about, because unfortunately, labor history is not taught in schools. Labor history is forgotten in most academics taught around this country, which is a shame in itself. So the Labor Museum is doing great work to ensure that, but we have an obligation to tell this next generation and explain to them why we have health care that's free and we make employers pay for it, why we have pensions, why it's important to protect those pensions. How did we get these benefits? Did we get them from vicious strikes where people lost their freedom, where people may have lost their lives? And we've got to ensure that they're armed and educated for their next battles, because those are the folks that are going to be making the decisions while we're in retirement that could affect the pride and the integrity of our respective organizations and could compromise everything that our forefathers and foresisters fought long and hard for. So that's been a focus of the Teamsters Union in the last 21 months since we took over, is to educate and recruit this next generation. Education is the most powerful thing we can do as trade unionists. We have to make certain that if someone has a better idea or a better way, we can't be selfish about our positions. We can't be selfish about hanging on. Sometimes, and I always tell people all the time, they ask me, how long are you going to be the general president of the Teamsters Union? And that's a tough question, because it's a very tough job. I love what I do. But I always say, when I am not relevant to this organization, and I'm not doing the best job on behalf of the most important people, our rank and file members, and there's someone out there that has the vision, that has the drive, then I will graciously step aside. Because this organization, like all of your respective organizations, has been so loyal to me my entire life. I think we all owe it to our organizations to be loyal back. And being loyal back means going out there every single day, working for the people who allow us the privilege to represent them, and that is our rank and file members. And a couple other things we've been doing at the Teamsters Union, we've been focusing on member-to-member outreach. One of the toughest things in our jobs is, for me personally, is sitting in an office. I don't like sitting in an office. I don't like, sitting still. I got OCD, ADHD, I check all those boxes, right? There's no better education for representatives than going out and actually talking to your rank and file members. Making certain that you're on the job sites, you're in the workplaces, actually witnessing the trials and tribulations that our members face every single day, and making certain these employers know that there's a presence in their workplaces, on the job sites, knowing that if they try to take advantage and or circumvent that collective bargaining agreement, that we are going to be there to enforce it. And no better example is what we achieved nationwide with the UPS agreement. As Brother Rispoli said, so eloquently, the largest private sector collective bargaining agreement in the entire country. The largest, representing 340,000 full-time and part-time men and women. And all eyes were upon us because this was the largest agreement And corporate America was watching us because we were new leadership. We had a new vision. We had a plan. We executed that plan, but the most important part of that plan was the unity and solidarity of the rank and file members at UPS. So we were able to go out a year in advance, all over the country, talking to members, part-timers, full-timers, in the middle of the night, middle of the day, late at night, early in the morning, making certain we understood exactly what their wants and needs were, making certain that we were mobilizing our members. And we went to the bargaining table. We went to the bargaining table with tremendous leverage because, think about it, UPS drivers and loaders and sorters, they actually provided goods and services to this country when toughest times we ever faced economically through the pandemic, our members were out there making certain that we kept supply chain moving so that everybody could live what was assumably the toughest time, but a fairly normal life. All the while, this company was making $100 billion in profit, or earnings, I should say. And so we started to do a deep dive on their finances. We found out that January of 2023, they gave their stockholders a 50% increase in their dividend payout, which equated to $9 billion. They rewarded themselves with excessive executive compensation in February of 2023, prior to negotiations. Not one person that benefited out of those two buckets I just described touched and or delivered a package through that time frame. And we exposed UPS for that. We went out there and we were transparent. We stated our intentions on what we were going to get for our members. And we achieved everything we did because we did a couple different things. One, we exposed UPS for not rewarding the people that made them tremendous success. We got tremendous support publicly because everybody loves the UPS drivers and employees that work there. Two, we did a deep dive on their finances where through the negotiations, we actually controlled their stock. So if we had a negotiation session where UPS wasn't giving in to one of our demands, we would make it a big public relations issue. We utilized social media, we utilized every ounce of public relations we could, and we exposed how bad UPS was treating their workers, so we actually controlled their stock price through the whole thing. So think about this. Public support, controlling the stock price, and the most important leverage we had was the threat of a strike because we had built that 1 year prior tremendous solidarity with our members. Now I always look at our union as, and I'm speaking about the Teamsters union, as sometimes that dinner table I described, we're a dysfunctional family, and I know mine was a little bit at times, where we could have spirited debate, dialogue, disagreement, but when we walked out that front door, we were a family, one mission, one direction. And our one mission, one direction was to get the best contract. So the solidarity of our members was key. And when we broke off negotiations, we had a very, very credible strike threat against UPS. Now, I know our brother from the WGA, unfortunately, they were on strike and they had to go on strike. But we had so much leverage, and we demonstrated in a 2-week period prior to the expiration of the contract how we could actually shut UPS down with practice picking and rallies, that they actually came back to the table. And the threat of a strike in this situation was actually more effective than the actual strike. We would have shut down a supply chain solution where our members provide 7% of the growth, delivery of the 7% of the growth national product. We control all modes of transportation. It would have been devastating to the country, but we weren't worried about the country. We were worried about the 340,000 members, and we boxed UPS in so tight that they had to give us the richest settlement ever, where part-timers on the average, about 48% increases in their wages, protected, preserved health and welfare and pension, created 7,500 new jobs, combated any type of technology with artificial intelligence and or drones or anything else that could diminish bargaining unit jobs. So we were very successful. We were only successful because of the mobilization and solidarity of our members moving forward. Now, This is a template that we hope and pray that every labor union will adopt. Obviously, we know everybody has a different style, a different approach, but this was a true testimonial on how to execute a plan, not being afraid to pivot, but more importantly, engaging the most important people we have, and that's our rank and file members that we have the privilege to serve moving forward. So look, I want to just say on behalf of the Teamsters Union that we are back, 1.3 million strong and growing. We are going to fight the fight, even if it's not our fight. We're going to get in the trenches. We're going to make this labor movement bigger, faster, stronger. We're going to invest in programs that are going to help cultivate that next generation. And if anybody takes on any one of our unions throughout the whole country, put your helmets on and buckle your chin straps. It's a full contact sport. Thank you very much.
How's that for a powerful statement? Okay. I'll be given the privilege to introduce our next, our next honoree, Michael Winship. Michael Winship is the former president of the Writers Guild of America East. Michael writes and edits political analysis and commentary for the website Common Dreams. As a writer and producer, he has created programming for numerous television stations. Michael is teamed up with the renowned Bill Moyers to go and work together on the Bill Moyers television show. They are the recipients together of the an Emmy and 3 Writers Awards for excellence in their work. In addition to all of these awards and recognitions, Michael has been involved in numerous other writings and activities, both as a professional and as a union leader. As president of the Writers Guild of America East, the Guild succeeded in 2 legal lengthy strikes against the Hollywood studios, networks, and streaming services. And it's good to be at a meeting. We have a story on a successful strike, and we have a leader here from 2 other successful strikes. It is my privilege and honor to introduce all of you to Michael Winship.
The Sol Stetin Award is presented to Michael Winship by the American Labor Museum for his notable contributions which have improved the lives of working people and for his tireless dedication to just policies and causes. Congratulations.
It's always a very difficult act to follow, as you just saw. I came at the labor movement from a slightly different direction. My experience was more like they always asked John F. Kennedy how he became a war hero, and he said it was entirely involuntary. They sank my boat. I had the same sort of thing happen to me. I was sort of thrust into the position without too much planning ahead, but I thank you for this award. It's an honor to be at this event, celebrating not only the American Labor Museum, but also the late, great Sol Stetin of the Textile workers after moving towards them. Wonderful, too, to be here with so many allies, colleagues in the labor movement, and to share this award with such distinguished union leaders as Sean, and Joe Demark, Smart, Sheet Metal, Air, Railroad Transportation, Local 25. I can feel the support, the solidarity, and the history, and I'm fiercely proud to be here among you. I first served as president of the Writers Guild of America from 2007 until 2017, and I stepped down. Then 2 years ago, the Guild leadership asked me to come back. I felt a little bit like Mo Udall, if you remember Mo Udall, the congressman from Utah who ran for president a couple of times. They asked him to run for president again, and he said, if nominated, I will flee to Mexico, and if elected, I will fight extradition. But there was much to be done, including the then impending contract and possible strike. I did it. Some might think, as I mentioned, that I don't seem the type for this kind of work. I grew up in a really small town in the Finger Lakes, upstate New York, where unions were pretty much non-existent in those days. Fast forward a couple of years, I was a freshman at college in Washington, D.C., and the civil service tried an experiment. You could get a civil service rating based on your grade point average. So I filed for it, I got the rating, I waited and I waited. And then one day I got a call to come to the government printing office to be interviewed to be a clerk typist. I got about a block away and I saw a picket line. I realized that they wanted me to be a scout. I turned around. Ever crossed a picket line, and I never have. So this has been a difficult year. There's been pain and frustration, but it's also been a year of hard-earned victories for organized labor in this country. Public support for organized labor is now at 71%. I know, and support among people under 30 years of age is 88%. So, there have been more than 200 strikes this year, involving some 500,000 workers. That's 10 times the number of strikes from just 2 years ago. Many have said that our writers' strike was an existential moment, not just for writers, but for organized labor everywhere. That this was an inflection point for all of us who work in collective bargaining to make significant progress for our brothers and sisters and siblings. We strive to assure the rights and benefits that labor provides. A friend of mine saw a bumper sticker on the street in New York a few weeks ago that said, unions are the anti-theft device for working people. And I think that just about sums it up. Our strike was a remarkable, occasionally exasperating, but deeply fulfilling experience. None of it could have been done without our extraordinary negotiating committee, our officers, the network of captains who made everything happen, the staffs, tireless and dedicated at both the Writers Guild East and West, and the members of the East and West who never, ever gave up fighting, and morale was unflagging. I also want to thank Parker Patton, who's now been through 2 of these lengthy strikes with me, and she's still here. God bless her. What's more, as we have now watched our union colleagues take action against UPS, as Mr. Sean talked about, the automobile companies, and so many others this year, we were heartened not only by their success, but also by the amazing support they showed us, joining us on the picket line, walking the walk and talking the talk. As mentioned, I was president of the Guild East back in 07 and 08 when we had our first strike. One big difference between then and now has been the tremendous support and powerful loyalty of all of these other unions, including those of my fellow recipients who got behind the Writers Guild and our friends and colleagues in SAG-AFTRA. When our talks first broke down May 1st, the strike began. I flew home from LA late that night, and the very first phone call early the next morning I had was from Randy Weingarten. How can we help, she said. And that was what we got from all of the unions, all of their support. It's one of the things that kept us going. It's a huge thing that kept us going. And so we thank our colleagues at those unions, the AFR-CIO, Jersey State AFL-CIO, the New York State AFL-CIO. You have been such a boon to our struggle. You could not have done it without us. The only thing that works against organized money is organized people. You have them in abundance. We would remind the desperate, angry, and frightened CEOs that, as noted by one of the Rutgers founders, Dorothy Parker, union is spelled with 5 letters. It's not a 4-letter word. There's power in a union. The corporate interests who fight against us, and I would include, add certain U.S. senators to that list, Sean, must learn that using the same old tired, hostile tactics over and over, somehow thinking they'll work every time, is just one more definition of insanity. But we unions aren't crazy. We're angry, tired, and smart, and fed up with the way we've been treated. So we fight. Remember the words of the wise man who said, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. And so we have, and so we will continue to do so. We're grateful to all of you. Thank you.
I'd like to take the liberty of just responding to Sean O'Brien's testimony when he said that the Teamsters are all about education. And where is Local 560? Oh, I was a teacher in the Jersey City schools when I was teaching, Jackie Presser was the president, and they had labor studies in the schools program, and I applied to it, and they paid for me to go up to Ithaca, to Cornell University for 2 weeks to teach me how to teach labor studies in the schools. And look at where I am now. And thanks to the Our next award recipient comes with an entourage of apprentices, instructors, and officers of the Sheet Metal Workers Union Local 25. And I say that because Joseph Demark doesn't take sole credit for his impact on others, especially for his impact on the American Labor Museum. Instead, he shares his accomplishments with his members, with those who are doing the job, with those who are teaching those who are doing the job. Brother Demark is a trustee at the American Labor Museum. And since he became a trustee, he continues to ask, even tonight when he came to the pre-gala reception, what can we do to help you? That's the truth. You're always asking, and I always appreciate it, and I always wind up asking for help. And he carries through with his offer. Joe and his union just installed the cutest little free library outside of the museum. Not only is it a library, when you open it up, it lights up at night. It's solar powered. It's so cool. And let me tell you, this little library has connected the museum to so many community members who otherwise would not be involved with the museum. So we thank you for that. But that's only one of the things that they've done. I mean, I could go on, but I'm just going to talk about they restored our chicken coop door in our Old World Gardens, our 1908 garbage receptacle. They even made a little birdhouse for our pear tree because ours was really falling apart. And they even gave us a dustpan that's going to outlive each and every one of us. In other words, Joe just can't do enough for the museum. And I can see that from those journal ads that we got, thanks to all of those phone calls that you made. Brothers and sisters, please help me welcome our friend, our brother, President of Smart Local 25, Joseph Demark, Jr. Sol Stetin Award presented to Joseph Demark Jr. by the American Labor Museum for the notable contributions which have improved the lives of working people and for the tireless dedication to just causes and policies.
Thank you.
Angelica, thank you. As you claimed, we can't do enough for you. You can't do enough for the Bardo House, the Labor Museum, the Union Movement. Mike, excellent. I'm so honored to be part of this Labor Museum board. It's incredible. The work they do, the dedication they have, it's unlimited. I want to, first of all, recognize my wife and my daughter, my wife, Erin. My sister Jill, and my sister-in-law Pam. I want to thank also let me back up. It's an honor to be honored with Sean, with Michael, and the other honorees. It's really nice to be a part of this group, so thank you. Sean, I feel like I knew you last night from TV. You did an excellent job. You're famous. Al is an excellent man, very respectable in the state. Al, you're doing a great job. I want to thank, actually this award is for the apprentices that help. For my apprentice coordinator, Sam, you want to raise your hand, please? Scott. And the apprentices, please, apprentices rise. This is the generation you're so good. You guys deserve this award. Thank you. I want to thank my business reps. Guys, raise your hands, please. Come on. My executive board trustees. One more I want to recognize. Labor law is very tough. And I feel that I have the best labor law attorney in the nation. And I want to recognize Bennett Zarowski here. His lovely wife, Susan. One more thing. My sister local, local 137. So nice to come. Dante Gano, the business manager. He was supposed to be with New York Governor Hofer tonight, and he came here instead to be with us. So thank you. Thank you. I don't know if that's true. Sean Mele. So I'm a third generation sheet metal worker. And we grew up at the breakfast table, dinner table, talking politics, my dad and I, my dad, my Uncle Willie, my Uncle James. This is a way of life. This is how you grow up. I loved going to the meetings when I was a kid. It was great. And same thing, certain meetings you could go to, certain meetings you couldn't. So I definitely identify with that. Listen, there's a lot going on in this state and across the country. With the UPS strike, very successful. I know fought hard, very strategically planned. Excellent job, kudos to you guys. The SAG, Actors, by the way, Mike, Laurel Brennan told me to say hi, introduce myself, so great job, you guys did an excellent job. We came out and supported you. There's a few others, across the country, the UA. Right now in this state, we have the nurses union down at Robert Wood Johnson. However, they've been striking since August 9th, and they're still on strike. There's 1,100 nurses out of work on that line. And I'm going to tell you something. I was just on a line yesterday. When you're on a line, you don't know, you think you're doing the right thing. You don't know if you're pulling people out, making them lose time and money. And you question yourself when you're on that line for days at a time, weeks at a time. But you know you're doing the right thing for the members. Our lines fight for jobs. I don't want to say pick a line, my attorney's here. It's a informational line. By the way, Stu Leonard's, anybody who patronize Stu Leonard's, hold off for a while. So somebody from out of the blue came up to us on the line with 2 bags, pulled over. He said, "Here, guys, I'm proud of you. Keep it going." He dropped off coffee for the guys on the line. What that does is it makes you feel good. It makes you feel like the cause is for a great reason. He happened to be an electrician from New York, local 3. It's a nice feeling. So anytime you guys go by the line, we hear horn honking. Anytime you guys see the line, tell the guys you appreciate them, the guys and women on the line. You got their back, you appreciate them. It goes a long way. So across the nation, this is happening. And anybody who strikes or anybody who comes up, I have contract negotiations coming up in June. You gave me some great ideas, Sean, but I'm up against some tough competition, but I think we'll prevail, we'll do well. Instead of a 3-year contract, we're looking for a 5-year contract, but you're so right. We're planning, we're in the planning stage way ahead of time. Fail to plan to fail to plan, whatever. Anyway, we're on this, and we're going to do well. I have to say the obvious, though. Collective bargaining, unions, corporate greed. Corporate greed it's just relentless, and it makes us get up every day to fight the fight. Corporate greed is terrible. We just want a fair day's pay for a fair day's work. What do we want? We want a respectable living wage. We want benefits, health benefits, a pension to retire to, and dignity in workplace, work safety. That's what we want, and we have to fight for this. But we do. But I'm optimistic because for years corporations want to crush us and get rid of the unions. We're here. We're thriving, and we're going to continue. And I am optimistic for the future, for the young generation, because they have their eye on the ball. They pay attention. They don't accept this corporate greed, and they are activists. So take stock in the future with the youth, because that's our hope. And that's what we want to do. We're training the young. I have a lot of faith in that. So in closing, I want to thank everyone here tonight. Keep the union movement going. One more thing. The presidential election. This is our time. This is our time. We have a president that's so pro-union, he doesn't just say it. Like Al, you said, he talks the talk, he walks the walk. I mean, you couldn't get any more pro-union than President Biden. He's on the UAW picket line. The other clown goes to a non-union shop and he speaks to management. How pathetic is that? The Republican debate last week, they were talking about attacking Social Security again. And the Medicare, Medicaid, they want to take it away from us. You pay into it all in your life. They want to get in, and not only that, the Constitution is at jeopardy. Our Constitution, our democracy. So I don't know what's going on with the rest of the nation, but the unions, the message is educate and communicate to get our message out in solidarity. Thank you.
educate, communicate, and agitate. I'm just saying another thing. Tonight is so special for so many reasons, and one of them is to give special recognition to our museum volunteers who are always willing and able to help at a moment's call. Tonight, we recognize John Mele. A volunteer master carpenter who lives right here in this town. Whether he helps to hang an exhibit or fix a broken door, John is always ready to come. He's one of our heroes, and tonight we present him with this well-deserved certificate of appreciation for all of the work that he has done at the American Labor Museum. American Labor Museum 2023 Special Recognition Award presented to John Mele for outstanding dedication and support of the museum. Thank you so much, John.
Thank you, and I appreciate this, and I'm grateful. And I can remember growing up in Patterson, School 5, just up the street from the Great Falls, which was my playground. I remember coming to the Bottle House on a field trip, and now to contribute to the preservation and longevity of this National Historic Site, which is a footprint for contribution to labor laws that we have today, and for future generations to embrace, share information, withdraw information, and observe. Well, it's wonderful. I acknowledge all the celebratory individuals, and Angelica, I acknowledge your commendable commitment, and let's keep moving forward with a continuous push. Thank you.
Many of you know Evelyn Hershey. She is the museum's education director. Truly, truly dedicated education director. And she wears a lot of hats. And one of them is working on various projects with college interns. This year, we had 2 exceptional interns from Rutgers University, to whom Evelyn will introduce you tonight. But tonight she's only going to introduce one of them, as I told you. The other one is homesick. So let's put our hands together for this beautiful, dedicated, very intelligent woman. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce 2 individuals who are receiving special recognition awards tonight. They are Akira Albar, Kluck, who's here with us this evening, and Melisa Tekin, who cannot be with us. In 2023, the museum welcomed Akira and Melisa, students at Rutgers University in New Brunswick, as college interns. The museum regularly hosts interns and has done so for many years. Akira and Melisa, however, have distinguished themselves as among the most enthusiastic and dedicated to the mission and educational programs of the museum. They offered their time and talent far beyond what was expected of their internship experience. They continue to support the museum's projects. We are very appreciative and grateful for the efforts on behalf of the American Labor Museum and honor them this evening with special recognition awards. So Akira, would you kindly come forward?
the American Labor Museum Bottom House National Landmark 2023 Special Recognition Award is presented to Akira, Albar, Kluck for outstanding dedication in support of the American Labor Museum.
I'm very excited to be here. I'm very grateful for the experiences I've had here. I got to see the WGA strike in action. I got to watch the labor movement really build over this strike summer, and I got to be a Rutgers student while we had one of the biggest strikes in higher education in the country, and we won a pretty good deal, and I'm just so grateful to be here in the museum doing something.
All right, I know you're thirsty. I know you want to go and have some dessert and have a drink. Just bear with me for 3 more minutes, I promise. Okay. I just have to recognize our Board of Trustees, of course. You met Mike Goodwin, you met Joe Demark, and of course we have our second Vice President from the IBW, Local 827, and President of the Passaic County Central Labor Council, Tom Kelly. And our Secretary, Arnie Cohen from Oxbow Cohen. Where's Arnie? And from the operating engineers and our Assemblyman, Tom Giblin. Tom. Orlando Riley from ACU. Where are you, Orlando? And Brendan Griffith from the New York State Central Labor Council. Well, thank you all. I know that if you're not here now, maybe you're you hit the head or something, I don't know. Anyway, thank you, my beautiful Board of Trustees. And I know that you just met Evelyn, but you know the voice of Robert Ledley. He's our office manager, and he's been making a lot of phone calls for the past couple of months. Robert Ledley, where are you, my love? Stand up and be recognized. This ballot is because of you, my man. Thank you. And our volunteers, would you please stand? You met Joe LaFalce, Art Guarino, Isabel Hershey, John Mele, Gloria Stradecki, and the IBEW Local 827 Labor Day volunteers who grill and serve hot dogs and drinks to hundreds of marchers at our Labor Day parade in the heat. Stand up, everybody, and be recognized for all that you do. And why don't we add the apprentices from the sheet metal workers union? Come on, stand up, brothers. And now a special thanks to our patrons. The AFT of New Jersey, American Federation of Teachers, Teamsters Joint Council 73, Teamsters Local 125, Teamsters Local 177, Teamsters Local 202 and 522, Teamsters Local 560, and Teamsters Local 863. Thank you. The Amalgamated Transit Workers Union State Joint Council, that's Orlando, Teamsters Local 11, and IBEW Local 827. I want to thank the wait staff who have been very patient. I know that you have dessert already for us. And I wanted to remind you about the silent auction. Please do some of your holiday shopping. And before we go, Bennett Zarofsky is not only a wonderful attorney for the sheet metal workers, but he's a great guitarist and singer, and he's going to lead us in Solidarity Forever. So everybody